the beginning. I will never forget the day I met Link. It was a warm spring day. I was on my usual trip back to Hyrule with my wagon of goods to sell in Hyrule Market at the annual Spring Festival. 1. I have been a traveling merchant since I was 14. This is my 6th year returning to Hyrule. The last 2 years I was not able to return when Princess Zelda sent word of an evil presence in Hyrule. Then all contact was lost. For almost 2 years I tried to contact Princess Zelda. Desperately I kept trying to find out if she was okay. I was never too long without contact with my good friend. Then I was considering going to investigate, when one day word came in that peace had been restored to Hyrule due to the legendary Hero of Time. After some catching up time with my old friend, I came to find out what really happened. Seems that a Gerudo named Ganondorf, an evil man from Gerduo Valley, desired the legendary Triforce. She told me how she played with things she knew nothing about, and about how Ganondorf tricked the soon-to-be Hero of Time into unlocking the door to the sacred realm. But now that peace was restored, life resumed in Hyrule. As I made my way down the desert trail that led to Hyrule, I began to think about whom the legendary Hero of Time was. I was very interested in meeting this man. Princess Zelda never told me his name, but I was going to make it a point this time to finally meet Hyrule's hero. I came closer to the gates of Hyrule Castle. A familiar face appeared to greet me, and I realized that the person greeting me was my good friend, Princess Zelda. I have been a good friend of the royal family ever since my first arrival in Hyrule 6 years ago for Hyrule's annual Spring Festival. Ever since the first day I met the princess, I have been one of her closest friends. I was even considered part of the royal family. Hello, Princess Zelda, my good friend. Yes, it is good to see you. How have you been?
Oh, it is so good to see you again, my friend. Come, come. Father is waiting to see you.
I followed Zelda through the marketplace and to the gates that led to the castle. Saluting to Princess Zelda and me was a guard named Parino. He smiled a friendly smile as we passed by. It's nice to see you again, Mistress Jenna. As I smiled back, I thought to myself how good it was to be back again. We went through the front gate and made our way towards the palace garden. Upon approaching the gates leading to the garden, another familiar face appeared to greet me. I realized that the face was of Zelda's caretaker, Impa of the Sheikahs.
It's good to see you again, my friend. How has life been treating you?
Oh, fine. Nothing out of the ordinary. I had to chase some thieves off on the first night that I was on my way here. Though after some facing time off, I was able to chase them away with my bow. Then I made a big grin as I remembered the looks on the thieves' faces when I rained arrows on them.
Well, it seems that with the abilities you possess, you should have no problem keeping your possessions safe.
With another smile, Impa gestured for us to go into the garden. That is where I met him. The man that took my heart. As he walked into the garden, I saw a young man in green with his back facing us, polishing a rather odd sword. I leaned over to Princess Zelda and asked her who the young man was.
That is the legendary Hero of Time. His name is Link,
Zelda replied. You mean he is the Hero of Time you told me about? The one who saved Hyrule? Just then, Link turned to look at us, and with one look at his face, my heart sank into my chest. He was the most gorgeous man I had ever laid my eyes upon. At that very moment, I fell in love. His eyes were like looking down into deep blue pools of water. His lips firm, his ears long and sexy, beautiful blonde hair that parted in the middle, and his body was so tight and muscular that it took my breath away. When our eyes met, I blushed and swiftly looked away. He approached me and took my hand in his, gently kissed it, and asked,
"Who might this beautiful young lady be?"
I turned my head back to face him, and as our eyes met again, I blushed. My name is Jenna. I'm a traveling merchant from the great Libyan coast. I have been a friend of the royal family for a long time. He looked into my eyes and smiled. Watching him smile made my heart pound in my chest. He again took my hand in his, kissed it again, and spoke.
Nice to meet you, Mistress Jenna.
Thank you, I stammered as I blushed again.
What are you doing tonight?
Nothing really. I was just going to retire to my wagon and cook supper before settling in front of a fire to read a book.
Why don't you join me tonight in Kokiri Village for the annual Spring Night celebration?
Too. I would love to go, I said with a soft smile.
I will pick you up this evening.
Just then a deep voice rumbled through the garden. Jenna, my dear friend, how have you been? King Zelda! My old friend, how I have missed you. It is really nice to see you again, I said with excitement in my voice. As always, the king thought of me as a daughter, and always looked forward to the day when I would arrive in Hyrule for the annual Spring Festival. But he always liked it when I would show up, since I would bring lots of fun and happiness. As I looked at the king, I realized I was somewhat at home. As he started to approach me, I ran up to the king and gave him a hug. How I missed him. Jenna, my sweet daughter, what have ye acquired through thy travels this past year? I smiled at the king. You must see some of the new cloth I picked up in the city of Sky Isle. The great city of light. I smiled as the king's eyes grew big. Jenna, my daughter, you must show me what you have acquired. With one last look back at Link, I smiled at him. See you tonight, I said before I left.
Link, er kommt to town.